The NBA offseason is only a few weeks away, and multiple NBA insiders have already reported that the Knicks are going to make a major trade happen this offseason. They have been linked to a number of players. To help us understand potentially who the Knicks could go after, it always helps to take a look at the past. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do in a new segment called Throwback Thursday Clips. In today's segment, we're going to look back at an interview I did with longtime NBA insider for the Knicks, Marc Berman. At the time, he helped break down who the Knicks were looking at in terms of players and free agents. And if we look at that list now today, it definitely is eye-opening and helps us understand potentially who the Knicks could target this year in free agency and this offseason. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Throwback Thursday, Marc Berman reveals that the Knicks checked in on Zion Williamson. You guys have so many different stars that have been linked to the New York Knicks, but honestly, for me, the most realistic seems to be Donovan Mitchell. Just because I feel like he has a little bit more control over his future. Joel Embiid, even though all the links and connections are there, Daryl Morey dealing with that division rival. I mean, I could go on in terms of why he wouldn't have to be traded here. He'd probably have to specifically say, like Damian Lillard said, I want to go to Miami. I want to go to the Knicks. What do you think with the New York Knicks? Are they going to land the star? And if so, can you tell me when you think they will?
Yeah, I mean, if they don't soon, Leon Rose is out. I mean, he's got to, he talked about when he came in, all his relationships. And, Karl Anthony Towns has been another name, but I'll be honest, I turned off him. When I saw him disappear in that final game of the playoffs, it was concerning. He's still young, though. But the one name you didn't mention is Zion. And
Yeah.
New Orleans is still not sold on Zion Williamson. Obviously, there's a risk there. All eyes on him on what kind of season. I was told that, the Knicks had checked in over the offseason about Zion. So, I mean, that could be a possibility. Listen, it's a mystery with Zion. It's all about his injury health and his weight, but he's spectacular. And God, putting Zion in New York, Adam Silver would be dancing and doing cartwheels. uh, that's a possibility. But again, Donovan was very disappointed to lose to the Knicks the way he lost. His teammates did not step up.
Right.
Mobley did not step up. If Cleveland has a disappointing season and takes a step back, you never know. I mean, he still loves New York, and he would still love to be a Knick, and was disappointed when that deal fell through. So, yeah, it could happen. Listen, it depends on another player, making a trade demand. Lillard wasn't a fit, not with Jalen, so it didn't make
Right.
sense. Once upon a time, the Knicks were interested, but that was before Jalen.
Right.
But he's got to get a superstar in here. That's why he was hired, because Dolan thought that he has great connections with all the stars in the league. And so far, it really hasn't panned out. And to be honest, I think the coaches are getting they want an upgrade. I mean, they're running it back. I know Tom could talk all he wants. Listen, he was asked today about continuity.
Right.
And I thought his answer was interesting, because, yeah, continuity is good, but getting better and adding a better player is better than that.
But this final one, for me, is a little bit close to home. We've been speaking about Leon Rose for a while now. I'm a little tired of year after year after year of hearing the same thing, because I feel like you could have taken what he said and applied it to this offseason, and it still would have applied, because it's not really changed. I know the vision is still the same, but I feel like as a president, if you're going to be a president of basketball operations, if the tenure you're leaving behind you is very patient and risk averse, I don't know what type of legacy you want to leave behind. So in your opinion, just for Leon Rose, what do you think thus far of what he's done for the New York Knicks as a franchise?
Well, believe it or not, considering he had no experience at all, I think he's done not a terrible job. It's just that he hasn't. I mean, it's been a few years already, so it's not. He's not. It's not new, and I think the patience, even at the trade deadline, I think he's very conservative. He tells people, I like the locker room. I don't want to make a move that's going to disrupt the locker room camaraderie. So it feels like the risk averse nature of Leon uh, leads to a situation where the Knicks may be another first round knockout, not another, but a first round knockout this year. And it seems like they could be spinning their wheels. And I think it's time to really take a shot. Donovan Mitchell was a slam dunk, and the fact that he didn't get that deal done, everything was going their way on that situation. Utah finally got tired of the Knicks' indecision with giving up enough draft picks, went to Utah, and Leon couldn't even get back into the game. Utah was like, "We're dealing with Cleveland. You had months. Sorry." They didn't even return his calls. So that was a big failure, and that could have been a big difference maker. I know there's some fans who are glad that Donovan's not a Knick. I don't know how, but they could have used him. I think Jalen and Donovan would have been spectacular together. So
So
the overall grade right now is like a C plus. If you're asking me the grade of Leon Rose and his tenure, I thought,
wow.
considering he had no experience, I mean, it's not a terrible grade. I mean,
Right.
but it could be better.
What star would Thibs have his eye on that could shake loose?
Well, again, I mentioned that Drew was someone that is a Tibbs type player, and he thought that the Knicks should have made some kind of offer at the time.
Right.
Uh, but Embiid is fine. He thinks he's a dominating player up front. Uh, Donovan, he really wanted. I've written it. I talked about it on podcasts. He loves Donovan Mitchell. He was kind of crushed that that deal fell through. Um, Listen, Jimmy's getting older, but I was at camp, the last couple of days with the Heat, and Jimmy hasn't declined yet, but who knows? If the Heat take a dip, and it was unlikely that they went to the finals. I don't think they're going back, and who knows? Maybe they could be in the a play-in team again, and be eliminated early. For Butler and Tibbs to reunite, toward the ends of Jimmy's career, if Miami decides that maybe it's time to rebuild a little bit, that would be fantastic. But I know Tom wants a big upgrade, and listen, Kevin Durant is seems to be solidified with Phoenix, but you never know with him. I don't know about Harden. I'll be honest. I think Harden is one of those players where he's a little bit unpredictable. So I don't know if Tibbs thinks that the Knicks should really go real full bore after James. I don't think they are. I think they realize he's on the downside with some attitude problems, obviously. So, but Carl Anthony Towns, I'm not, also a little. It wasn't the greatest of experiences when they were together. I
Yeah.
think he would love Zach LaVine, even though he traded him. I think he would love Zach LaVine. Listen, he wants an upgrade, a better players than they have now. He feels they need another superstar or all star for them to be a real Eastern Conference title contender.
That was our newest segment called Throwback Thursday Clips. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and leave a comment below and let us know if we should do more segments like this. If so, let us know what other topics you want us to cover, other players you want us to look into, things like that. We'd be happy to cover each and every aspect of it once we can. Make sure you let us know that in the comments as well, too. That's the only way I'm going to be able to see it and make sure I make a change. But until next time, Knick fans, I hope you enjoyed this new segment. And if you did, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel and absolutely have those notifications turned on. You don't want to miss any new segments when we go live or any of the new videos that we have coming out as well. Until next time, Knick fans, thanks again for your support. And of course, peace.